Hey, good morning, Maddie. So we're here in Martyrs Square, as you can see behind me, the tip of a very, very famous port at the center of this city. Now, this was also the demarcation line between East and West Beirut during the country's civil war, so a lot of historical significance associated with this spot. And this is where hundreds of thousands of Lebanese have been protesting over the last 4 days. They're worried about corruption. They want to see change in their government. You remember, about 6 weeks ago, we were here in Beirut talking exclusively to this country's prime minister, and he had essentially said to us, we know that we're entering a period of economic crisis. That means that this country has got to take some kind of a haircut. The Lebanese, though, he said, were willing and perhaps even understanding of the fact that this was going to really come down to taxes. Listen in to what he told me then.
I truly believe that everyone is conscious that there is a problem. Everyone wants to take action. The issue is how to combine all our efforts in, one big package of reform that will cover all the things that we need to do. It's going to be tough, okay, but it's worth the, it's worth the hours, and it's worth the tiredness that we're going to go through, and it's worth the risk, because we will have demonstrations in Lebanon, and I'm saying it from now, but let's have it one time, and that's it.
What is the haircut? Well, in the history of political miscalculations, that might go down, Maddie, as one of the greatest. Essentially what we saw was the fact that the Lebanese people decided finally to come out and protest their government. Remember, this is a confessional system. We've got multiple political parties, most of them based on religious lines. That hasn't changed since the country's civil war. They've had an uneasy peace for the last several years. But really, in terms of these protests, this is the first time that we've really seen them be able to stick and force the government, seemingly, to move forward in such a way that the Lebanese people aren't going to bear the brunt of what is coming on down the pipe. This is a country, of course, with significant structural reform issues. They've got a jet to GDP ratio of 151%. That's something that this country has got to tackle. But within these economic reforms that the prime minister has said he's going to put to his cabinet today, a couple of things to hit for you that are significant. One of these reforms would be as much as a 50% haircut that former and current presidents, MPs and ministers would be forced to take on the head, as well as not just the central bank, but also banks across the country contributing as much as $3.3 billion to what they call this near zero deficit proposal. So those are just a couple of the things that Mr. Harry is hoping to get approved by his cabinet later today. And all of this that forced folks to come to the street. It wasn't the trash collection issue. It wasn't necessarily the corruption issue. It was a tax on WhatsApp calls. And if you've lived in this part of the world, you know that nothing exists, or in terms of communication, that doesn't have something to do with WhatsApp. Nothing. Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now, to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.